Hello everyone, this is Karen from tuppencecolour.co.uk. Thank you for joining me. This is what I'm going to be making today. It's going to be a birthday card for my husband, whose birthday is at the end of January, and I've made it with this into the frame technique. So if you'd like to see how I made it, stay with me and I will show you. I'm using this stamp set, which is Guy Greetings, and I'm using the Strong Man, and I've already mounted him up on my stamp block, and I'm using soft suede ink to ink him up. And whoops, stay there, boy. Because this is a photopolymer stamp, I can see exactly where I want to put him, so I think I'll put him about there. And I'm using shimmery white cardstock. Did I say that already? I'm repeating myself. And the reason why is that I'm going to be putting some of our watercolour pens on this later on, and the shimmery white is a bit stronger, stands up better to being watercoloured than the very vanilla or the Whisper White cardstock does. So there he is, all stamped in place. Now ahead of time I have stamped him again and cut him out on a bit of post-it, and I'm just going to mask him up. Now when I cut my mask, I cut slightly inside the lines. That way I have less risk of it ghosting and getting a white outline around my stamp when I come to use it. Right, this is our world map stamp, and as you will see, it is a big hefty stamp, and I want to make sure that I've got it the right way up, and I can just see the word Africa written there, so I know, yes, that's the right way up. And I'm going to ink this one up in Sahara Sand. So sorry for the bit of bouncing. Now I'm hoping this is going to work, because as you know, I'm working on quite a flexible table, and it doesn't always give me the amount of pushback that I need when I'm stamping. Now what I find with these large stamps is that it is much easier to put the stamp on the table and bring the paper over it, rather than to try and do it the other way around, because that is a big hefty stamp, and to lift that up and a block, that is going to challenge. That's going to challenge me. My hands are not all that big. They will stretch, but it is difficult to do. So it's much easier to do it the wrong way around, if you like, and just put your card that you want to be stamped over the top and just press down. I've got a bit of paper here to try and protect, and I'm trying to feel where my mask is so that I make sure that I put plenty of pressure. If I had my brayer handy, I could run over the top of it with a brayer. That would be good as well. Okay, so let's see what we got. It may not have worked all that well, but don't worry, I've got one I prepared earlier just in case. And that's actually worked quite well. I'm quite happy with that. So the next thing to do now is to apply some colour. So let me take off the mask, and as you can see, there's our strong man standing in front of the map. So now I'm going to go and get my colours and apply some colour. Now I know that there are people out there who love nothing better than colouring in, and who can sit there with pens and crayons and a piece of paper and just be happy just colouring in for hours and hours. I am not one of those people, okay? But if you are, then do you know what? You take as much time as you like with this card and make it a thing of beauty. I'm going to be doing fast and dirty, quite honestly. So I'm just going to show you the principle of how I colour, and then I am going to go and turn off the video and go away and finish, finish in the comfort of my own home in privacy, because you don't really want to see me colouring for hours. At least I hope you don't. Okay, I've got one of my Stampin' Right markers. This one is Pink Pirouette, I believe. Yeah, Pink Pirouette. And I've just scribbled it, I don't know, you probably can't see it very well, onto my acrylic block. And I've got a blending pen here, and I'm just picking up the colour on my blending pen, and I'm just starting to colour. And I'm starting where I want it to be darker, and my pen, because these are water-based inks, my pen will naturally just pick up some of the colour that I've already put down, so it will be a mix of the pink and the brown, so it's making him look like he's got a bit of a suntan going on there, which is all very nice. Okay, so that's his body done. Now if I want to clean my blender pen, I just scribble it on a bit of paper until I've got it to be the colour I want, and this is Sahara Sand, I think, which I will use for his trousers. Now these markers use the exact same ink as is in our stamping pads, so when your marker runs low on ink, you can just refill it from the same re-inkers that we use for the stamp pads. So that is pretty cool, I think. And you can use them to colour your stamps, as well as as well as for colouring in, and you can colour direct. I mean, I'm picking up the colour with a blender pen, but you can colour direct. I want quite a soft, subtle effect, but if I wanted a bright effect, then I would go ahead and stamp directly with them. So I want this to look kind of old and faded and quite subtle. And I'm just pulling in the ink from the outline, and that is giving me quite a nice subtle effect. So I'm quite happy with that. Now for the rest of it, this is Soft Sky, I believe. Now the markers have two ends. They have the brush end, and they also have a nylon tip end. And what I am going to do is I'm going to find the bits of coastline, and I'm just going to go and outline them. And let's try, that's with the fine nib. I think actually it'll be a lot quicker if I use the brush end. So this is now going to take me a bit of time, so I am going to turn off the camera and I'll come back when it's all finished. I'm ready now to cut my frame, so I've got my oval framelets here, and I'm going to use this one, which is 1, 2, 3, 4th from the inside, and I'm going to line that up where I want it to go. So I'm using my grid paper to help me line things up, and I think that's how I want it. So I'm going to hold on to it, and I've got a nice sharp pencil here, and I'm going to just draw where my man cuts into the aperture. Right. Okay. So I'm going to do a bit of fussy cutting, and this is all going to be cut away. So I've got my craft knife. I'm giving myself a spot for my scissors to come in. Now, if you're ace with a knife, you can do this with a knife. I'm not that good with a knife, so I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm just roughly at this point in time cutting out my little character here. And what I am going to do is down here where his legs cross the line that I've drawn. Can you see that? I'm going to cut down past that line. And it is quite fiddly. And again, I'm cutting down past that line. Very, very carefully. So now he's kind of hanging out behind there, so that I can come in with my die, and I want to be able to slip that behind my character so that it will go through, and I line it up with where it was before. And I can't talk and think at the same time, sorry. Right, so I'm lining that up, and now I'm going to run that through my big shot as it is, so that my little fella is not going to be cut out. He's the other side of the blade, and I will be back in just a moment. I'm back, and here's my aperture all cut out. Now I'm going to go and finish fussy cutting out this little character, and I'll be back in a few minutes. I want to be making this a birthday card for my husband, so I'm going to be using 3 of the stamps from the Guy Greetings set. I'm going to be using World's Greatest Husband and Happy Birthday, and I've gone ahead and I've put them on my blocks, and I've got my shimmering white cardstock and soft sway ink, and there's a bit of hair or fluff on there, I think. So I'm going to start with the World's Greatest. I've got a silicone mat down because these are photopolymer stamps, and you do need something with a little bit of give underneath it for a photopolymer. So to start stamping my World's Greatest, and I'm just holding that just for a few seconds, just so that the ink has time to transfer. Oh, that's stamped beautifully. So next is husband. And I'm going to give myself a bit of room down here. And the same thing again. Just holding that just for a few seconds to give it time to transfer. And last of all, Happy Birthday. Right, now I'm going to go and cut those out. Time now to put it all together. So I've got here a piece of our Going Places DSP, which is in our, oh, Sophie, crying out loud. I'm ready now to put it all together. So I've got myself a card blank, which is just a piece of Whisper White, cut in half and then folded in half, and I've cut myself a piece of the Going Places DSP, which is new in our spring and summer catalogue, and this is going on, and I think I've cut this to, I think it's 5.5 by 3 3/4. Just a little bit smaller than my card. This is going down first. Put a bit of pressure on that so that it sticks very nicely. Right, now I've got my frame, and I'm going to be using some dimensionals on this because I want to kick it up a bit. So I'm going to put definitely a dimensional on my strongman there, and another one there, and on the back you can see where we made the cut, but nobody is going to notice that once the card is all put together. On my snips, where are they? There they are, there's my snips. I'm going to use one of the little edge pieces from the dimensionals to go behind his head, because it would be awful if his head fell off. And we're going to line this up. There we are, just needs the sentiments. So I went ahead and cut these out. So I cut that one out just with my scissors, and actually I didn't do a terribly good job, so I'm going to just trim that a little bit more. That's going to go on there with a couple of blue dots when I can find them. For reasons best known to myself, I'd put them away. Senior moment going on there. Oops. So those are going to sit very neatly over the top of the frame. I can't speak today. Right, this one, the husband, I cut out with the bitty banners framelets, and I'm going to put a glue dot on this end, but a dimensional on that end, because it goes sort of like that. Okay, so the glue dot goes on that end, and another one of my scraps of dimensional goes on the other end. So the last bit to go on is Happy Birthday, which I cut with our washi tape punch, and I think I'll put that there just like that. So just a couple of glue dots this time. And there we are. And here is the finished card, all ready to be given to my husband, and I do hope he likes it. And I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. I would absolutely love it if you would leave me a comment, or certainly click the like button. And if you would like to see more of my tutorials, then please do subscribe to my channel, because there will be more soon. I have a blog and a Facebook page as well, and you can get there from the links in the more information box below. And if you want to find out how to get hold of the materials that I use, well, there is a link to my Stampin' Up shop as well. But for now, thank you for watching, and I hope that I will see you soon. Bye-bye.